Hello and welcome to Artists Soar. This is a podcast for artists by 3 artists. We discuss all aspects of being artists, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The goal of each podcast is to provide solutions so artists can focus on their creativity and soar above. I'm Rachel Harshenko.
Jules McCullough.
Stephanie Weaver.
So we're noticing that a lot of artists are creating courses and classes for people. And one of our questions is, do you think that some of these artists are taking advantage of artists? And what are they thinking really? So that's going to be our discussion this afternoon.
So kind of preface this a little bit. We all went out to breakfast together, and Julie came across an artist that was trying to sell a course for, what was it? $797?
$697.
$697.
And it's basically email marketing is what the course is for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That just seems expensive.
That's what I thought after I read through all that she's offering. And then that bared the question of, I also saw on social media a post in an artist group about somebody asking, really just venting that their frustration that all these courses are getting so expensive. And it seemed to them that there's the pyramid scheme starting or happening with some artists, as well as are you with the in crowd?
Right.
And is it becoming just a scam and sleazy, or are these courses really worth it? And that got our minds rolling with questions about art and artists selling artists. Are they taking advantage of other artists?
With the whole FOMO, fear of missing out.
No,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you had discussed that you had taken a course a few years ago, and you ended up learning Illustrator with it, but also illustration, and it was artistic class.
It was very much worth what I paid for it.
And now it's tripled.
Yeah, the same course is like...
Yeah, I want to say this year it's like $1,600 or $1,700, and I paid I paid $300 for it, I think. $297 or $397. I don't remember. It was several years ago. But somewhere between $300 and $400 I paid for it. And now this year it was like $1,500 plus or minus. I'm using round numbers. And then in that same email I got, it said that next year it was going to be $1,997.
It's just...
And I'm
what's
just
the percentage
floored.
increase in that?
I'm just floored at the amount of money that this person thinks that this course is worth. And yes, it was very much worth what I paid for it, I thought. But based on the email, I don't see that much changing about it. Maybe some new interviews and some updates on some of the videos and lessons. 27%
increase over a year and no content change.
Right. That's my understanding based on the email.
Wow.
Goodness.
And I just find that's a college level plus course is what you're selling it as. And to me, you're going over so many topics a different topic each week. You're not getting college level education out of it.
No.
Unless it was, 8 weeks or 9 weeks of just one single topic.
Right.
Then, okay, that's different. That gets into the college level course.
But we got off on the discussion that this last course that you were looking up, the $697, was basically an email.
Right.
How to email. And we were looking in all the email places, that MailChimp, Constant Contact, all of them. Once you sign up, you get a free course on how to do it and how to do each thing.
Yeah. Each thing that's in the modules of the course. Right.
So I'm doing research, as Julie's talking here. So, you can Google a college level course is $1,300. A little bit over $1,300 for a college level course taught by a professor that is what they live and breathe doing.
Right.
And an artist is teaching that, expecting the same pay as a professor.
Right.
Who has gone through a 7-year degree.
Right. Or also even half that price to me is not worthy of that course.
Right. Especially when you can do what Rachel's saying.
Yeah. You can get a lot of it for free.
Right.
In these, email marketing
Right. And they even show you how to set up A/B,
testing
and how to automate and how to create content. And I mean, there's a lot to it.
Right.
That's just with your sign up.
So then what I kind of imagine what's happening is these guys, they're taking, because Julie and I have both gone through like Teachable. I'm in Kajabi. That's what I use now. And I've gone through the courses with like Russell Brunson, where they talk about pricing your classes. And they want you to go up there to like the $2,000-$3,000 mark, make it a premium course. And they tell you exactly the 17 components or 16 components that need to be on your sales page. And here's the emails that you need to do. So meanwhile, you got these coaching guys that are coaching these artists and really everybody else in the industry to sell it at the premium price, $2,000-$3,000. And so that's where they're getting it. Right. But is it necessarily right? I think no.
I think no, too. I don't think it's right. And I know a couple of these artists that we're talking about, their coaches and mentors are some of these, big coaching people that say, yes, you need to go after that course and make it a $2,000 course and make it a premium thing and yada, yada. But to me, that's just taking advantage.
Yeah.
And then we came up with, well, maybe it's because the demand is too high, so they're raising the price. But then we came up with the idea of, well, what if you have a prerequisite course?
Right.
And then based on that prerequisite course, your input and activity and all these different things potentially could get you into this premium course.
Yeah.
But you're not paying that $2,000 for it, but you have to be selected to go to the course.
And to me, that makes complete sense because, I had that Etsy boot camp.
Yeah.
And one of the things I got from that is not everybody is at the same level. So, you need a pre-qualifying course,
just like you would in college.
For how to create images 101.
Right.
And because you need to have images before you start your Etsy shop. So that needs to be pre-qualified. If I'm paying $2,000 for a course and there are people in there that are just being taught like, oh, I don't know how to do an image, and I got to sit there and listen to them being taught how to image, I'm going to get pissed.
Right. Definitely. Right. I totally agree with that.
So I think you're really onto something right now. I think a lot of artists are probably following these coaches, doing what they're telling them to do, and not really doing that critical thinking of, does this make sense for the people that I'm going after? Am I going to get all the people at the same level? And maybe that's what they're thinking with the pricing at $2,000, is that all those people are going to be at the same level, but not necessarily.
Not necessarily, because you could have somebody that is working a day job that wants to stop their day job and dabbles in Photoshop, let's say, on the side, but they really don't know all these things in Photoshop that you need.
This is one of the subjects that kind of really gets me fired up. And it goes back to like all these other, galleries, all of the stupid art shows. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say it like that. But they're taking advantage of artists. They're taking advantage of their creative nature and making money off of them at a really high price. I'm sorry, but it doesn't take $30 per image to evaluate somebody's artwork.
Right. It doesn't. It's
right.
I know. Mad. Well, and I think
pull me down off the rafters.
Well, and I mean, that gets back into the topic of, I feel that artists are taken advantage of on every level. Yeah. I mean, look at licensing.
Yeah.
How small of a fee artists get
for
licensing their hard-earned work. And I'm sorry, you don't have good quality products without an artist.
No. Completely
because,
right.
9 times out of 10, 90% of the time, there is a pattern of something on the surface of that something you're buying, be it a pillow, a sheet, a shirt, a purse, a notebook. Somebody designed that.
Yeah.
And why do they have to be taken advantage of? And then it feels like those artists that are successful at licensing are now taking advantage of the ones that haven't found that success yet. Yeah. And granted, take out the fact that success is different for everyone. But if you find success in being able to license your work and you want to make a living at that, you have to diversify in order to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and like you were saying, art shows, or say you have like an arts and crafts show somewhere, and they charge you a booth fee.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go and set up and you spend the whole weekend there. And then they're like, hey, put a piece of artwork into, the competition of whatever. It's only $20,
Yeah. You have your application fee.
Right. Your application fee. And then you put in your artwork and then you're like, oh, you get third place in, Nowhereville, Georgia. And you're like, thanks. I have a pretty ribbon now that I paid for.
Right.
Right.
I could go buy myself a ribbon. That's how valuable this is.
And it's like, you don't think you're being taken advantage of because you're like, oh, I was in second place at this really nice art show in Georgia and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm award winning. And you're like, okay, but you just really socked a lot of money into that in a weekend and a hotel and
Yeah.
Gas and everything.
Probably a weekend.
Gas, hotel, food.
Spending time away from your family, blah, 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 in the elements.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And did you mess up anything loading and unloading? And, it's just like, and that's just one aspect of being an artist.
Right.
And then you have everything else, competitions online and this and that. And now we get these courses. Oh, for $1,000, we'll show you how to email and make your little artworks, a success. And you're like, oh, wow. Well,
But then out of our conversation at breakfast this morning came the fact that, we all know Stephanie is very driven and I can't remember the word we were looking for. Focused. And, you set your mind to something and you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need to find the success that you're looking for from these courses. It's not necessarily what they're teaching you.
Right.
It's the self-discipline that you have to have in order to take an online course.
To get something out of it.
Where, an in-person course is going to be a little bit different. But yeah, the whole thing.
Well, like this, the particular example that we're kind of talking about, they were talking about copywriting for artists. Now, we're not talking about copywriting an image. It's about writing your email content.
And telling a story.
There are coaches out there, there are business guys out there that's all they do. They've written books. They've on that subject. That is their bread and butter. And if you're trying to write, I think, an email and learning how to copyright, you learn from the experts. And an artist, I'm sorry, you're not that expert. And I can say that about me too. I'm not a copywriting expert.
Mm-hmm.
I can teach you everything that I've learned, but I'm not going to charge you $1,500 because I'm not a copywriting expert. It's not my bread and butter. It's not my pride and joy.
Yeah.
And I will point you in the direction. Actually, I'll put in the show notes who to go to for copywriting. And I actually bought his software, and it's not a program like an educational program. He actually has a software that you plug in the details that ask you certain questions. It'll generate emails for you. It'll generate all the information that you need to even, approach a podcast, to become a speaker on the podcast. But my point is that I paid $797 for that software, and that included a master course, and it includes I get to meet with that guy every week. That $797. Meanwhile, an artist is charging $2,000 for a course that talks about email marketing. No, man, don't spend your money on that.
No, it's just, I mean,
sorry.
You bring up a good point. Go to where the experts are. Now, I'm taking my passion project is to eventually illustrate a children's book. And so I'm taking a course on illustrating a children's book from the very basics to learn from a person that has illustrated 15 children's books.
Right. They're an expert.
I would consider them an expert.
Spent 10,000 plus hours doing it.
Right.
And, and I'm getting good information out of it.
Right.
So
and a lot of this stuff I interrupted.
No, you're fine.
I keep doing that too.
I know. I'm bad about
it. Going back to the email or whatever aspect but let's just say email, since that was what caught our eye. You can literally Google and read for free how to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
From other people who've written about it, and also maybe suggest someone who's better than them. You were saying, okay, here's what I learned, but here's what this person, this is the person that I got it from or whatever. And you can, a few hours, you can get that information and find out who the expert is and what you're looking for, and then go to them directly.
Right.
One of the other things we were talking about this morning is persistence.
Yes.
So many
That's it.
people will
Mhm.
just, they've got good intentions for the first week.
Yeah.
And it's like, we were talking about my daughter with soccer. She's interested in going to become a striker. Well, it's great, like, to be motivated for like 3 days, but you're not going to get better and better and better if you just do it for 3 days. You got to keep doing it. And we gave her the example of, like, when she was able to do splits. That took months of training to get your muscles flexible enough to be able to do splits.
Yeah.
And then when you stop doing it, you start contracting again and you're not able to do it.
Right.
Same thing applies with, like, if you're talking about email marketing, the first email that goes out is not going to be the show winner.
No.
The second email, probably not. Third, but you're going to start to see progression because you are getting better.
Right. You're doing it consistently. You're learning every week
Yeah.
on new things to do, new ways to grab attention, new ways to tell the story,
And you're continuing to do research on what subject lines work, what word ends up in spam by doing the A/B testing.
Yep.
There's all sorts of things that are free.
Free. Yeah, I mean, really free. I mean, really free. I mean, you can still sign up for your email, whoever you want to use, whether it be MailChimp or
Flowdesk or whoever.
Flowdesk. And they'll teach you how to do it and how to make pretty emails, how to make them pretty, even like stylize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll even follow people and get their email newsletter just to pick it apart so I can see, okay, well, what grabbed my attention? And that's like the initial scan. What grabbed my attention? Why did it grab my attention?
Yeah.
And then why did I click on this? And I know, Julie, you do that too.
Yeah, I do.
You'll send me emails, go, hey, check this one out. I really love the way that's formatted, da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Right. And my problem, like you're saying, is I evaluate from a format standpoint versus a content standpoint. And I should be evaluating from a content standpoint. But
you probably hate my emails because it's like a lot of words. I
am getting a lot of emails these days from artists. In fact, that one with the course that we just is so many words. I'm like, I don't want to read all this. I don't want to read your life story. Just get to the point. It's a freaking email.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the ones.
Get to the point. Tell me what you're selling. And if I want to learn more, I'll click on it to learn more.
Right.
Don't tell me the whole story in an email.
Right. I like the headline, the picture, and so I get the gist of what it is. And then if I want to scroll on down, I can learn more.
And it's like my emails, I break into 3 subjects. If you want to learn more, you click it.
Yeah.
If you want to learn more, it's just like a catchy little thing that hopefully is catching their attention. And I have a 24 to 26% open rate, which I think is pretty decent for a small email list. But, you learn by doing.
I'll have to put in the show notes. I've got this. It's a headline analyzer. And so it's a headline, and you can also use it for your subjects. And so it'll identify whether your headline is intellectual, spiritual, or empathetic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And most people will open the ones that are spiritual and empathetic.
Right. That makes sense.
And that, like, I've been using it for probably about 3 months now. And I have noticed that my emails are increasingly getting open. And the more empathetic they are, and then sometimes I hit the triple impact, which is all 3. But yeah, that's actually made a big difference. And so, like, this is information we are giving away for free.
Right. Exactly.
It's helpful.
Right. It's helpful. And I mean, you can't just take a course that's going to be 6 weeks or 8 weeks and become successful. You have to, especially when that course is covering, 6 to 8 different modules of information.
Yeah.
You've got to dig deeper than that in order to find the success. It's just like, my passion project. I dreaded sitting down, even though I know how to draw. It was scary to draw a character.
Yeah,
and
I can see that.
And then I put it off. Okay, no, I need to spend my hour and I need to learn. And then by the time I get to the end of that product, am I as good as the other people in the class? No, there's ones that are much better than me, but I see success from what I started with to what I ended with so far on this one character. And that's the point to, getting better is there's no magic fix. You can't take a 6-week course and instantly be successful.
Well, another thing that I noticed, like, some of these guys are doing, and it's not just artists. I see it in, like, the marketing guys
it's
that
everywhere.
I follow.
Yeah, it's everything.
They're showcasing that 1%. So when they say, I was like, oh my gosh, I tried to get an interview with this one guy that was posting about he's helping artists sell $30,000 worth of artwork a month. And I tried
Okay.
I tried to get a conversation with this guy. And anyway, he totally ghosted me. He looked up who I was and stuff. But anyway, so my point was, is they're showing like 1% of those that are actually doing well. And that actually violates some marketing, like FCC, I think, rules, because it's supposed to be a much higher percentage of success before you can actually showcase people like that.
Oh, interesting.
So I know one of the marketing gurus that I follow, they're always talking about, so-and-so got 150,000 followers in the first month of doing this, this, and this. Yes. And so Rachel's over here shaking her head.
Shaking my head and rolling my eyes because it doesn't happen.
Well, I mean, yeah, it doesn't really happen for like so many subjects. But if you're like the crazy cat lady type of, Facebook group, that one's going to go nuts.
Right.
But artist Facebook group, we're not going to go nuts.
No,
like
we're not.
150,000. So it's, you got to really kind of dig in. I know with, when I see something that seems too good to be true, it likely is.
It is.
Yeah.
And then I'll start digging in. I'll look at their LinkedIn profile, I'll look at their Twitter profile, I'll look at their Pinterest. I'll start really digging into their history. And then all of it's available online, because if they've been doing it for 10 years, I think it's somebody worth looking into.
Right.
Do I think it's worth paying $2,000? No.
No.
I would take a college level course.
Right.
Yeah.
I would too.
Where I'm going to have weekly assignments and I'm going to have the opportunity to speak with the professor.
Right. I'm going to get feedback on my work.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just be haphazardly given feedback by some lottery system. I'm actually going to get and be able to ask questions and stuff like that. So let me ask this question then.
Ooh, yay.
Because this is something I think has happened, but do you think a lot of these courses are going up in price due to the pandemic and people?
No. I think it comes down to their reason of why they're doing it. And they're doing it to make money.
Right. I don't disagree with that, but I do think it's been over exaggerated due to the pandemic because people know now.
It's already online. So what was the difference?
Because people that weren't comfortable with taking classes online were forced into learning technology and doing stuff online. And that's why I think there's more of these courses now, because artists have seen, the world is living online. I can be online too and sell a course. And B, the people buying the courses are more comfortable with online now because they've been forced into using the online world for meetings and communication and all these different things.
Right.
So that's why I feel like there's an insurgence of courses coming into my email box now from artists I've followed for years versus 2 years ago, I was getting half of that.
But again, are they seeing this trend so they're going to try and take advantage of it? Which is a yes.
I think so too. Sorry. I agree. I think that's a yes.
I think it's
I think they're seeing their
I agree that they see all this more trending to be online and everything, but I still think it's taking advantage of people who...
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. What kills me is like how they're charging so much for the business side, and yet they're selling their, painting courses for like $97. Well, they're to me, they're both should be equal value because it takes just as much skill. It takes just as much skill and determination to improve your painting skills and your creative skills as it does art. And by doing this, by charging $2,000 for their quote unquote business side, which is email marketing, to charging $97 for a watercolor, they are themselves devaluing their value of their artwork.
Right.
They're their bread and butter.
Yeah.
And it's causing
so they're becoming
problem.
like an email expert instead of a watercolorist or an oil painting or photographer or whatever.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I'm probably guilty of that too. Oh, now that I actually think about it, because I'm only charging $24.50 for my monthly oil painting online courses, and they can get pick and choose, and $30 for my business side. So I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got to fix that somehow.
Make them both equal.
Yeah, make them both equal. Because, I mean, it is, all of this is a learned skill.
Right. It's all a learned skill. And it goes back to the days when you had a master and an apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
And you could not become a master unless you had been an apprentice at some point and taken those years to learn that skill. And we've lost that. And we're devaluing it because of that.
I do charge more for the in-person.
Right.
Yeah, the in-person everything.
And it all comes back to, what do you want out of your artwork?
Yeah.
For sure, too. Are you trying to make a business out of it? If so, really go and learn from the experts. Don't learn email from, a plumber.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
No, that makes sense. It would be like a plumbing company telling other plumbing companies how to write emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
good analogy.
But it is what you want out of your artwork. Do you want to sell one painting a month? Does that make you feel good? Is that what's going to make you successful? Or are you really trying to build and, like you said, not mass produce, but really expand your business? Then you want to look at email. You want to look at marketing. You want to look at whatever. I
think we should probably also say it's not. So if artists want to sell a program on email marketing, absolutely go ahead.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But $2,000? No.
Or even $700.
$700. No, I can buy a software program from an expert that actually does that.
Yeah.
Do your research.
I know. I think that's the point.
Thinking.
It's like there's nothing wrong with selling these courses. And that's a good point to make, because it really isn't. We all want to be successful in our own way. Right. And as artists, we need to diversify our income. But research what it is you're really selling and put it at a realistic value.
Right.
Because if the expert that's been doing this for 20 plus years and has written books is selling it for $600-$700, can you really sell it for that same price and be at the same level as that expert?
Exactly.
Now, like you said, if you're a watercolorist and you've been doing that for 20 plus years, take that into consideration when you price your watercolor course. Don't devalue yourself.
Right.
Right. Same principle goes.
Yeah.
I think we just hit on something major there with the we as artists are doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
We're overvaluing the value of the business side versus art side, and we can't live without either one of them.
Right.
And you're like
value.
Exactly. And you're unintentionally devaluing what yourself. You do as an artist.
Oh my goodness.
Which is something that you have to fight every day anyway as an artist, because it's so subjective.
Yeah.
Man.
Good food for thought.
Wow. Truth bombs all over.
Yeah.
So let us know what some courses that you feel are value that we could look at, and some that you think are maybe a joke. And check out some of the things that we're putting out there for you guys that are free, and always take advantage of that. So until next time.
Thanks for listening to Artists Soar,
a podcast for artists by artists. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us at hello@artistsoar.com.
And be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts so that you can get more of us and we can bring in some sponsors to help you and help us.